So I thought about it today, and actually maybe people would be interested in seeing my vantage point when driving through this northern part of California. But not just, I guess, through this area, but any area in the United States, since a lot of people don't seem to love driving, but maybe they wouldn't mind seeing it from my eyes or seeing it from my perspective. And unfortunately, I don't have a connection right now, so why not be the audiobook that I wanted to listen to? Now, am I that interesting? Probably not, but at least I have a number of stories that I could possibly keep you either slightly entertained, maybe medium-ish entertained, or sometimes slapstick fucking slap your leg funny shit. Excuse my French. I tend to have a sailor's mouth when I get going. Anyway, so my name is Brandon. You don't need to know my last name unless you truly, really want to know it. And if you do, I'm sure you can find it because I am basically doxxed on the entire internet anyway. But I am a 54, can't even say it, Korean American who's grown most of his life in the United States. And I hate using these filler words, by the way. I am now currently building a few different entities, and I say entities because they're not officially companies or legal entities that will hopefully someday perhaps change the world, which is what my goal was all along. So I immigrated here when I was 3 years old. My parents decided to jump on a plane, create a brand new life for myself and my soon-to-be-born brother, who was born about a year and a half after we arrived in 1975. I believe that's when his birth was. No, sorry. It was not right after because he's 4.5 years younger than I am. So it had to be a couple and a half or a year and a half at least. So that, what am I talking about? I was right. Jesus. Okay. So that's the story of our entry into the United States. We were actually sponsored by my aunt, and not just my aunt, rather. It was my uncle Griffin, and I think Griffin was his last name, but we always called him Uncle Griffin. He was an American soldier who had spent some time in South Korea, met my aunt, who, funny enough, convinced him to date her despite being, I think, 10 years older than him, because he had no idea she was 10 years older, and she just said that she was a bit younger, and she could get away with it because she has the looks. She's currently almost 90 years old and probably is hot to a lot of men her age. And so she was joking about it recently when I saw her, which reminds me I do need to give her a call. Hi, Emil, if you even get a chance to listen to this or watch this. So basically, we ended up Camp Institutes and Conference Center, Camp Newman. Interesting. I grew up in the Puyallup, South Puget Sound area of Washington State. And we first landed in Fife, Washington, which is right next to Puyallup, and lived there for just a brief period of time until my parents felt like it was important for us to go to school in Puyallup, because I guess that was the quote-unquote metropolitan area next to Fife. I don't know if they had any chance to really research, because at that time there was no internet. The only research they could possibly do is use the library system, but they couldn't speak English that well at that time. So they probably relied on Jackie Montang. So Jackie was a teacher of ESL, and my mom and dad took her classes and met her husband eventually, Verge, who was a really cool old guy that I loved before he passed. And Jackie and Verge invited us over a lot, so that's the reason why I know who these two lovely people are. And I'm sure they influenced my mom quite a bit, and as a result, possibly told them, hey, you should get a house, or you should live in Puyallup. Or they listened to all their other friends on the farm, or friends they probably...
In a quarter mile, turn left onto Petrified Forest Road.
Okay, I will turn left on Petrified Forest Road. But probably got some advice to take us to Puyallup. Okay, this is very boring. I don't know why I even talked about that. But to maybe give a little bit of the why as to our reasoning on
turn left onto Petrified Forest Road
from Fife to Puyallup. Okay, so you're gonna get to listen to this nice little voice as far as our navigation is concerned. And I don't know how long I'm gonna be basically narrating, or not narrating, but talking into this video. But maybe as long
as Petrified Forest Road for 4 miles.
We don't have really a strong internet connection. We only have about one bar, and so whenever we get to that point, it's really hard to get any reception. I was trying to listen to an audiobook, frankly. My good friend Crystal had shared this 13-book series that she's been reading, and it's very fascinating as far as the last theme that she was discovering in the 13th book in the series, and the author, I think, is it was a female. All I remember right now. I'll find out the author later if I end up publishing this. But anyway, the theme was about families and how parents prevent, I believe, their children's ability to connect with other families, or something along those lines. I will hopefully discover that if I get to finally listen to this book. But the other reason why it was challenging, or why I'm not listening to this book, is I was trying to subscribe to Apple Books, and the stupid thing was not working. It was honestly not even being able to play. And so then I was rushing through a bunch of other audio book sites, or audio book apps, and unfortunately none of them, including the last one, which was called Libby, I think it was able to start before I lost the internet connection. So here I am talking to you about my life, because I can't think of anything else to talk about. I mean, we could talk about AI, we could talk about what I'm doing today. I mean, I briefly talked about the fact that I'm trying to build some entities, is what I called them. In actuality, it's a VC hybrid, a VC standing for venture capital hybrid. And I say hybrid because I don't want to replicate the current model, which is creating a fund which encompasses lots of money, and having that money to invest in a lot of startup companies, but aggressively pushing them to a point where they can succeed or fail. And a lot of them fail these days because, in my opinion, they're not equipped to run successfully. As a result, we're going to build something that's more sustainable, we believe, more healthy, and hopefully help them prosper and live long, kind of like the Star Trek motto. But in actuality, truthfully, trying to make them, or help them rather, support them, and give them all the tools and resources they need in order to succeed. So that is one thing that I'm focusing on right now as I drive through beautiful, beautiful wine country. As you can see, there's some vineyards to the right. You can also see that we're tailing a bunch of cars because everybody is either in a rush and or they are not necessarily in a rush, but they're driving slowly in contrast. So wow, that house is in a great location. I wonder, despite it not being like modern and all, how much that would cost. Yeah, this is a very nice area. wish, let's see, it says Petrified Forest Road, I believe. And the road adjacent to us is the Franz Valley School Road. We're heading basically west on Highway 128. In about a mile and a half, we're going to hit Foothill Boulevard. We still have 11 hours and 30 minutes left in our drive to Seattle. And actually, we're not going to Seattle per se. We're going to a little town just south of it called Auburn, where my parents live. Which is kind of ironic when I think about it. Auburn is where my sister-in-law is from in California. So, interesting. Anyway, so I'm obviously talking about random things, and that is probably detracting from this little video, or this narrated video. And I say narrated, but I'm not narrating anything. I'm just talking into it, so apologies. Now that looks amazing off to the left. I don't know if you guys got to see that whole area. That looks like pricey real estate. So I am building these things today. After 54 years of living in the United States. Sorry, 51, because I came here when I was 3. And actually, we should subtract a good, let's see, spent 2 years in South Korea from 96 to 98. Then spent another 4 years from 2006 to 2010. So that's 6 years. And then spent another, I'd say, about 5 years from 2012 to 2017 from South Korea to Hong Kong. And a little stop in Shanghai that was pivotal in my life. So I would say 11 years abroad, at least, that I can recall. If you want to include all the vacations and stuff like that, maybe 11 and a half. Yeah, so 11, let's just call it 11 for now. So let's say 40 years in the United States,
Turn left onto
11 years in Asia.
West, Foothill Boulevard.
As I don't know whose voice that is, but as this lady speaks about, and there's a police car to the left, trying to probably catch one of us drive a little too fast. Here we are taking a left.
At the light, turn left onto California 128 West,
Yes,
Foothill
ma'am.
Boulevard.
Yes, ma'am. We will take a left on Foothill Boulevard. So here we are. Let me see if I can zoom out, see where we're exactly at. We are near Calistoga. Don't know a lot about this area, but we're gonna take a left.
Continue on California 128 West for 3/4 of a mile.
We're gonna recenter. Then we're gonna take a right on Tubbs Lane. You know, this looks new to me because I don't know if we drove in this area at night the last time, or if we even drove down this street. We have a person off to the right running past us, being all healthy and all, which is nice. I feel great, by the way. It's the first night I've slept as much as I have in a
In
while.
a 1/4 mile, turn right onto Tubbs Lane.
And I have to thank my friend for allowing me to hang out at their place. Got to thank Cappy, her little dog, who didn't bother me all night, even though Cappy could have easily barked and
Turn right onto Tubbs Lane.
been annoying as all can be. You know, like when I first got to know Cappy, Cappy was a little bit louder, but Cappy was so kind and so
Continue on Tubbs Lane for
amazing
1.5 miles.
this visit. And Mark also was so polite, Mark being her son, who was working all day and then quietly coming home and crashing and probably still sleeping at this point, I hope. So thanks to their family, including their dog, who is family, for the really restful night that I had here in the Northern California area. We are headed up to Seattle again, or the Seattle area, so that we can hang out for, I'd say, a good 8-9 days, which does remind me I do need to reach out to a couple more friends to tell them that I'm going to be there and hopefully meet up for a little bit. It's been too long for some of them. I actually haven't even met some folks that I've gotten to know online. I would like to say hello to Shauna at some point, because we talked a lot online, but we yet to meet in person. And yeah, I think she'd be great to be involved in whatever we end up doing. She's very involved in education, and I think that is why it'd be awesome if we got to have her take part.
Turn left onto California 29
and be our Seattle contact, as I think about it out loud. So, how can I stop saying maybe it's just simply pausing and not saying something. That might be the best way. I also need to
continue on California 29 north for 19 miles.
Articulating thoughts without too many pauses, so my brainwaves need to be more, what would be the right term for it? Active? More. This is beautiful, by the way. I love this. I love this. Check it out. Check it out, check it out, check it out. Now, if I had a motorcycle, it would be more interesting, but I don't drive one or ride one anymore because of an accident that I had back in 2009, 2010. And also because I have children, and I thought it would be good that I do not risk my life anymore, and it just doesn't make sense to have a motorcycle. God, I wish I would have stopped and took a picture, but you know, a lot of the places that I feel like I'm gonna regret not stopping and taking pictures, I'll have the opportunity to do later, because I'm gonna come back, obviously. This won't be the last time I'm in this area. I'll just plan it out more, where in the future I'll rent a car, I will give myself more downtime and take, I mean, when I flew into this area a few weeks back for this conference called Edge Esmeralda, I just saw how beautiful it was. I mean, it truly was incredibly beautiful, and because it was so beautiful, even though I knew this area is beautiful, I just was thinking I need to spend more time exploring, enjoying, and having a good time here. But I didn't get to do much that weekend because only a couple days that I was here, and so yeah, it was not as full of opportunity to take lots of pictures and, you know, take in the sights. Okay, so I've spoken for 18 straight minutes. I think I'll finish at 20, just because I simply have not done this yet. It seems like I need to exercise my vocal cords along with my mind in terms of trying to articulate lots of, hopefully, quote-unquote, interesting thoughts. However, I am just rambling in my mind and not really providing something as good. I mean, my friend told me as well, like, the first book in the 13-book series was not as great because it was the first attempt to do something like this, and this is my first attempt, despite having hosted radio shows, having done multiple podcasts, and also just in the practice of being able to articulate thoughts through audio, social audio platforms. So I should be more apt to create, or say things on video / audio more readily and ideally more interestingly. But yeah, I guess this is the first time I've kind of just impromptu started talking. Let's see if I can pass this guy. So yeah, I mean, he's driving pretty fast himself, so, but let's see. Okay, there I am. There I pass. And not that I'm gonna be able to consistently drive really, really, really fast, which is what this guy is also doing. So it's kind of interesting because he's driving a big ass SUV, yet he's still driving really, really fast. But here I am doing the same, but a little faster because I have a car, and the weather's not too bad, so I'm able to drive a little quicker than that person, and I'm kind of in a hurry. So that's one of the reasons why I passed this individual. So I've got to the 20-minute mark. I believe it's not incredibly uninteresting, but yet I still feel a little tired. Should we try for 30? Should we try for 30 minutes? You know, my friend would probably say, let's do it, at least with her current spirit. But I don't know. I could try to find stuff to talk about for the next 9 or 8 minutes or whatever. I can't look at the screen right now because, as you can see, I'm driving in a very windy road, or on a very windy road, and it'd probably be quite dangerous if I decided to just focus on the screen instead of driving. You know, to be honest, I wish you could see, frankly, the windiness of the next, I would say, half mile or more. You'll experience it, obviously. Not as much as I'm experiencing it personally, but I hope you can see how windy this is. It is windier than I expected. I mean, I do see it on the map, or did, so I did expect it to be somewhat like this, but it's funny. I think now I remember doing this with worse weather, potentially worse conditions, and worried a tad that I would fly off the road because of both, weather and conditions. But it's kind of fun now because it's dry, and I should knock on wood though, because there's cars coming at me, and then you have Tesla doing that fucking thing. God damn it. It almost put us into fucking oncoming traffic. Elon, fuck your automatic driving shit. That literally almost killed us. God. Oh, that was frustrating. And scary, by the way. Very scary. It literally almost pushed us into those cars. Did you hear it? Jeez. And we think that automation or things like that are good things. They can force us into situations. I'm glad I was able to take over. Wow. Oh, my heart's beating pretty badly. I wish I could check my monitor on my watch, but all I can tell you is I know with my own manual read for my stress levels, it's high right now, and pissed off, to be frank. And I don't know how it's impacting my health, but fuck you, Elon. Seriously, fuck you, and fuck your team, because that really was really bad. And people think that you're so special on some levels. Well, you should be also punished for all the shit that you failed to do, or create to make things worse, in ways that do not prepare us. There's a motherfucker right behind me. I don't know why, but driving like this, like he's driving the F1 race weirdly with a truck. I don't know how or why he would do such stupid things, but he is, and he is driving very, very fast, almost to the degree that it's dangerous. And so I don't know what to say except this guy's being ridiculous. So maybe I should be kind of quiet and let him pass. Well, I can't now because stupid lane is closed. So, oops. Here's Johnny. That's what I was thinking as soon as I started to say here. There's a Prius in front of us. Let's let this motherfucker pass and see what he does. And I'm gonna tail him because he's an asshole. Probably has guns or something like that, so I should be careful. thinks he's a fucking race car driver. Welcome to being tailed. Yeah, I'm not a fan of people who do that. And so that's why you'll see me do it as revenge. I know it's not smart. It's something in our blood, something in our genes that doesn't let injustice, which is what we feel this is, go unpunished. And so it does put a risk, or it does risk our lives, because sometimes you are trying to punish crazy people who may even retaliate even worse. Kind of like the Israel-Palestinian conflict, which is ridiculous in a lot of ways, yet justified in others. As you can see, we don't like certain injustice. This person thinks they're getting away, but they're not getting away. I'm just giving them a little bit of a gap, and we're gonna continue playing with them because they feel the need to tail. Well, I'll tail just as badly. And frankly, it also kind of achieves our goal, which is to get home quicker. The only downside to this is that we obviously want to get home safely, and we also don't want to ruin our car, which is what it somewhat does by aggressively driving roads like this. Anyway, only a few minutes away from the 30-minute mark, we will have accomplished our first 30-minute monologue, basically, in a very long time. I don't think I've done a monologue this long, or at least a monologue in this way. So here is potentially my first time doing it. Hopefully we can get to the audiobook so I can rest and not be so intent, or not the right term, so focused on trying to create some entertaining content, entertaining audio for you all to listen to, which frankly I would say this probably gets about a B-, if not as bad as a D+, as far as quality. But hey, if we get a few listens and we get the opportunity to basically practice, why not? And like that other author who's gotten better and better and better, hopefully we will do the same, and hopefully we will find the ability to resonate with lots of people. I probably should have topics, or I should have things that I would like to focus on, so that it will be a tad bit more interesting. Let's see if we can get to this other person real quick. We did pass, so great. We did achieve our immediate goal, and we're still tailing this other biatch who seems to have this desire to drive as fast as they do. And again, it still achieves our goal in getting home quicker. So maybe, Dad, maybe I'll see you for Father's Day. But then again, I think you're going to be sleeping. So I will text my mom, though, and let her know that I should potentially be home sometime tonight, if not early morning. So hopefully she doesn't do the security code. And happy Father's Day to all you fathers. It is 2025 Father's Day. I know Father's Day isn't necessarily celebrated in all countries. I wish it was. There is Family Day, I think, in South Korea, instead of, or Parents' Day, Parents' Day, which is basically Father's and Mother's Day. Wow, that was a beautiful bird right above us. I don't know if we captured that on video. Yeah, not a bad idea for a holiday, instead of just focusing on one side or the other. Yeah, because what if you had two mothers, or we won't do the or. But yeah, what if you had two mothers? You don't have a father. Do you just call one of them father? I don't know. Because today, in this day and age, we do have that dynamic in some families as far as their parental roles. And so, yeah, it should probably just Parents' Day. Oh, that car really just took off and is way ahead of us. So, yeah. Well, let's end this, like I said, as the first 30-minute monologue of Brandon's audio tales. Maybe that's what we'll call it.